Welcome to Our Community. Susie Thomas here with you this morning. We're visiting with Sarah Farron. She's from Faith Family Church, and they're getting ready for Serve Day again. So good morning.
Good morning, Susie. It's so great to be here.
So some may be unfamiliar with Serve Day. Tell us what it is.
Serve Day is really just a community-wide event. It's a one-day community service event. Our goal is really to mobilize Faith Family Church, sort of beyond the four walls, out into the community, just to simply serve, love and serve the community. That's our goal. We've chosen to sort of do it in a unique way where we want to come alongside local schools, organizations, nonprofits who are, in our opinion, the real heroes in our community and so many times often go unrecognized for the hard work and what they're doing in the trenches day in and day out, week in and week out. And so our heart is really to mobilize our church to come alongside those who are making a difference in our community, allow them to learn from them and serve and work alongside them and just really give a hand.
You've been doing this for how long now?
Actually, last year was our first year
Okay.
doing this, so not very long that we've been doing it, but we've got such an incredible response from not just the community, but even from the people within our church saying it just energized them and motivated them. One of the things I think is so amazing is that there are people who have lived here their whole life, and they participated last year in Serve Day, and I get feedback from them like, I never knew that organization existed.
Wow.
Or they served in an area that they had heard about it and didn't know a lot about it, and from sort of being able to touch it and put their hands to it, something happened in their heart. And they came back and said, you know what, I'm going to just start on my own serving there maybe once a month or whatever with my whole family. And those are things that I think are a win for Serve Day because it's not just about sort of doing one big spectacular thing, but really about motivating people to understand our community better and to find ways that we can really plug in and serve and really be a blessing.
It's a win for the organizations, too, because everybody's looking for more volunteers.
Sure. Yeah. I think if you asked the average nonprofit, what do you need? I mean, money's always on the list, but people are really always, sometimes even the highest priority. They just need good quality people that can serve and be committed and help drive their mission forward.
Tell us a little bit about last year. How did that come together and how did it go?
So we chose to partner with United Way. We just feel like there's a lot of overlap in their mission and our mission, just to work towards the common good and to serve in the community. And the United Way has such a broad network of community partners, and so it just made sense. One of the things that they do really well is mobilize people, and so we thought, let's just hook up our efforts and do this thing together, and worked out so beautifully. It was such a great partnership. We're doing it again this year, working with them and kind of having that connection, that overlap. But we were able to connect with many organizations, like I said, schools, nonprofits, and really invited them to dream big and say, if you could have as many volunteers as you could ask for, what would you have them do? And then we sort of set a time frame of about 4 hours. We found that, 4 hours of serving is fun. And then after that, it feels like work. And so we want to keep it fun. We're going to get a lot of work done. We're going to get a lot done, but we also want to keep it fun for everyone that's participating. So we're doing it right now for about 4 hours, 8 a.m. to noon. We had over 25 organizations that submitted a project request to us across 3 counties. We were primarily...
Was that last year or this year so far?
This was last year. Last
okay.
year, yeah. We had, we were in Stark County primarily, but we had a few projects in Summit County and also in Carroll County. And we were able to mobilize nearly 500 volunteers in one day, which is just amazing.
That is, I was just going to say, have you any sense of how many people? Because if Faith Family has something, it's got a lot of people.
We do have a lot of people, and I think that's one of the reasons why Serve Day, I think, resonates with us so much because, like I said, one of the greatest needs at some of these organizations is for people, good quality people, and that's what we have. And so if we can sort of take advantage of the fact that we have some good quality people and mobilize them into the community, I feel like, we're just doing the right thing.
What kinds of projects did you do last year?
There was such a wide spectrum of projects. We had groups that worked with senior citizens and children. We had groups that did painting, landscaping, building projects, cleaning, reorganization. You name it, we probably did it.
Did people come back to you with some great stories of the fun they had and just cool things that happened while they were serving?
You know what I heard over and over again was that I met some of my first friends at Faith Family. Like I didn't know how to connect. Maybe I was just joining a small group or something like that. But when we served together, those are some of the real, true friendships that were formed through something like that. And I think what a unique way to build relationship, to connect with people that you attend church with and maybe would have never met otherwise.
Who are you looking for? Like what age groups and so forth? How heavy lifting do you need to be able to do?
We actually, since we have such a wide variety of projects, and that's sort of our goal is to have a really wide variety, we have projects that would be appropriate for probably junior high through adult. And so there are some that are a little more specific to maybe heavy lifters, but there's several that, the average person could for sure participate in.
As people are looking around and figuring out what kind of a good project they might have for you to do, what specifics are you looking for? Something that can be completed in 4 hours or?
Yeah, not necessarily. It doesn't have to be, but what if you could, this is what I told one of the organizations last year, they were sort of brainstorming some ideas. They had a lot of things and they almost asked on the low end, like, let's just give me 5 or 10 volunteers. But I looked at the project and I knew the scope of what could be done. I said, listen, don't lowball us. Ask high. Ask for an outrageous number of volunteers. And what if we just, can meet that? And we did. I think we sent, where they were looking for 5 volunteers, I think we ended up sending 25 or 30. And so in doing that, we were able to actually complete some of the projects that maybe we couldn't have done if they asked for a smaller number of volunteers. And so I would encourage anyone, in the community that's part of an organization or a school or a nonprofit, and you have some projects that you think could take all day to do, maybe just ask for more volunteers. We might just get the project done in that 4-hour time frame.
So the logistics of this just have to be unbelievable. I'm thinking of you, that this is not your full-time job, although this could be somebody's full-time job as far as coordinating 25 different, where you're sending 25, 50 volunteers to each location.
Sure.
How do you do that, Sarah?
Sure. That's a great question. We have an incredible team, not just staff at Faith Family, but also some volunteers, some really high functioning volunteers that we couldn't do this without, and they really help us to stay organized. We mobilize even some coordinators for each different work site that helps to manage their team of volunteers. So we've kind of broken it down, got a system in place so that everyone gets communicated to well, knows where they're going, what they're going to be doing, and makes it happen.
You do it right, too. Everybody's got fun T-shirts to wear. Everybody can locate the volunteers that day.
And I think, too, every work site is a little bit different, and what they're doing is a little bit different. Some are smaller groups, some are bigger groups, but we start the day off on the front lawn of Faith Family Church, 7:15 a.m., bright and early. We bring all
on a Saturday.
On a Saturday, people are committed. They come out in their T-shirts, and everyone just kind of comes together on the front lawn. We get an opportunity just to thank them in advance for what they're, giving their time and talent. But then we join together and just pray for the city. We love Canton. We love Stark County and Northeast Ohio. And so just as a church family, we just want to pray for our city before we, sort of put our hands to the task.
I like what you just said there, that the first thing you want to do is thank the volunteers. I think nobody volunteers for that reason.
Sure.
But why is that important? To be able to recognize, hey, it's 7:15 on a Saturday and you don't have to be here.
Yeah, and people give so selflessly, and I think that's a big deal because that's not always normal. And I think sometimes it's important to point out that what God's doing in our city is maybe it's not normal. Like maybe we should look at this and see that there's a supernatural thing happening here in our city. Let's not take it lightly. family, but let's, just recognize that. And this is a big deal. You giving your Saturday morning, this is a really big deal. It's not only doing something on the inside of you as a volunteer, but it's making a difference, a real difference in our community.
Why is it important for churches to do something like this?
I think it's easy to become, in a sense, inward focused. Not, maybe no church would do this intentionally, but to only focus on the people who are attending the church. And while that's really important, you've got to, build programs and discipleship and training for the people who attend your church. You also don't want to neglect the fact that there's a lot of people that don't yet attend. There's a lot of people that don't yet know how good it is to serve God and how wonderful it is to know Jesus. And so for us, we feel like it's so important just to give an easy opportunity, because serving in the community, it sounds good. It kind of sounds like this big picture idea. But if you've never done it and you don't know where to start, it's going to be really hard to take that first step. And so we feel like Serve Day is just, in a way, we're kind of making an easy on-ramp for people to just try it out, see what it feels like to be a representation of Jesus in our community, and just serve. No strings attached. Just go serve. You might learn something. You might meet a new friend. And who knows, you might discover a talent that you never realized that you had.
What did you feel like serving last year?
I was overwhelmed. I was at the food bank for a period of time, and then I was actually able to go and visit several other sites. And I felt so overwhelmed because every site that we went to, there was joy and excitement. The people were really passionate. No one was feeling overwhelmed. They felt like the task might have been big, that was before them, but they felt well able to do it, and they were working so hard. People were sweating. They had paint all over their Serve Day T-shirts, and they were, pulling weeds and doing yard work, and they were doing it with such joy in their hearts and such smiles on their faces. And I know in talking with several of the contacts from different organizations, they were just blown away by, I think, the enthusiasm and the hard work that all of the folks brought.
Part of that ministry seemed to touch on other areas of the ministry that Faith Family has as well in the community. I'm thinking in particular about the people who lined up and they filled are they called welcome bags? What a horrible name for that when someone is coming into the penal system and they're going to be incarcerated in prison for a while, but they need things like toothpaste and toothbrush and so forth. So probably welcome bag is not the correct term there.
Maybe a hygiene kit.
Hygiene kit is closer to.
Let's go with that one.
Much better. But those hygiene kits really made a difference in people, didn't they? Can you talk about the prison ministry and what that touch had to do with bringing people and find it a little more curious about Faith Family, maybe start attending some of those prison ministry services?
Yeah, so Faith Family has an incredible open door to do ministry inside the correctional facilities, not just here in Stark County, but also with the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections. So different state facilities that are a little bit further outside of the scope of Stark County. We've actually have a unique model that we've adopted where we've planted a church campus inside the prison grounds. So cool. It's incredible just to see what God's doing. There are inmates who attend Faith Family services every week, just like you and I attend church services. Mm-hmm. On the weekend, they too, and they consider Faith Family their home church. We consider them part of our church family. Yes. They go in, they get the same handouts that folks receive at Faith Family. They watch the same message. They participate in the same worship. And then during the week, we have groups of volunteers that go and sit with them and help conduct character development, small group experiences for them that's really geared towards just discipleship and really turning some folks' lives around. And so in doing that, we were able to sort of merge Serve Day and that passion for prison ministry. And I think we had about 100 volunteers that just lined up, did an assembly line, and put together hygiene kits, over 2,000 hygiene kits.
Yeah, got done quickly, too.
Yeah, absolutely. When you have 100 people ready to go, we were able to really get a lot done. And I think that we'll do a similar project this year to bless our church family that's incarcerated.
How many incarcerated, I won't say people, how many campuses are you on? How many off-site?
Right now we're in 4 different facilities doing
one of them being
that.
the Multi-County Juvenile Detention Center?
Yeah, that's correct.
Is that the newest one?
I think so, yes.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, have you heard some stories from the people saying that what impact is that having on being right there in the prisons?
Right. This is actually, I think this is one of the most amazing stories that I recall. Last year, some of the women in the Northeast Reintegration Center in Cleveland, they watch, they participate in our worship experience, and they saw on the announcements that we were talking about Serve Day, and they asked the chaplain, well, can we serve somewhere? They obviously can't leave prison grounds, but they wanted to be a part of Serve Day, and so didn't work on the exact date. They weren't able to do something, but we did sort of craft something that they could put their hands to, and they are so talented. I'm telling you what, they might have made some mistakes in their life, but that doesn't mean that they're not gifted and talented and still very valuable to the kingdom. And so they actually put together some beautiful blankets for a hospice facility, and they were able to just pray over those blankets, and we took them to the hospice facility. It was such a beautiful thing for them to be able to have for their patients.
That is so cool. We're speaking with Sarah Farren. She's from Faith Family Church, talking about Serve Day. We're going to be getting into how you can become involved with your organization. You need some people? Sarah's got them. So stay with us. You're listening to Our Community.